Hi everyone. So today I'm going to be making some what we call a Sunday gravy or Italian gravy, or what is most commonly known as tomato sauce or Italian tomato sauce. In Italy they call it gravy. So they call it a Sunday gravy because they serve it on Sundays, usually for lunch. I'm going to be making a recipe that resembles a bit what my grandmother used to make when I was young. On Saturday mornings, I used to go downstairs to my grandmother's house, and she would be making the tomato sauce for the Sunday. She would make it on Saturday morning, and she would serve me a little bowl of it when it was ready, and I would sit and watch cartoons as I was eating the tomato sauce. So when I eat this, it's going to remind me of when I was young. So basically, I'm doing a tomato sauce with 3 kinds of meat. So I'm going to be doing some Braciole, which is basically flat beef that's stuffed and seasoned. I have some nice pork chops that I'm going to include in there as well, and some meatballs, some veal and pork meatballs that I'm going to make a little later on. So for the Brojo here, I have 4 pieces of flank steak. Normally at the grocery store you can find these flat steaks. If you can't find them, you can ask the butcher to take some regular flank steak and pound it down, or you can buy it and pound it yourself to make it nice and flat. It has to be flat enough so that you're able to roll it once you put all the ingredients inside. Next, I have already prepared some parsley. So this is Italian parsley that I already chopped. I have here some garlic, about 4 cloves of garlic chopped. I also have some provolone cheese, and so that's for the Braciole. And I also have some pepperoncini peppers that I've chopped. So here we go. So I'm going to start with putting some salt and pepper on the meat itself. A good amount of salt. And I'm seasoning the inside. This is going to be where the stuffing is going to go in. They're going to cook. Basically, what I'm going to do with the meat, with the Braciole and with the pork chops, is I'm going to be browning them first, and then they're going to cook in the sauce for about 2 to 3 hours. So they're going to become really tender. So now we'll put a little bit of garlic on each piece of meat. This is beef. Some people use pork to make this. You can use either or, even veal. It depends what you like. You make it what you like. You like a beef, you make it the beef. You like it the pork, you make it the pork. A little bit of parsley. Again, you put as much or as little as you want. The only thing you have to keep in mind when you're doing this is the more stuff you put inside, the harder it's going to be to roll. So you have to be careful not to stuff it up with too much stuffing. This is really just to give it some taste. So here we have parsley and some black pepper. The combination of the Italian parsley, the garlic, and the pepper really gives it a really great taste. Those are 3 ingredients that are very key to making the Braciole. If you don't like the other ingredients, you can omit them, but these 3 ingredients are key. Again, I'm just going to put a little bit of cheese in there. This is something you could put as much or as little, or even not put any at all if you don't want. And I'm not going to be putting too much Romano cheese in there because I'll be putting some provolone as well. So here I have my pepperoncini peppers. These are peppers that are marinated in vinegar. They're little small peppers that you can easily find at any grocery store. That's going to be enough. So they basically look like this. You'll notice that they'll come in jars like this, or they're in cans. Last ingredient I'm putting in the Braciole is my provolone cheese. So I'm going to put a piece here. Like I said, you don't want to put too much stuff in there because you won't be able to roll it if it's too thick. And now the key to this is to start with the thinner side of it, and then roll. And it has to be really tight when you roll it. I've never done this before. This is the first time, so hopefully it'll come out right. And I think I could put a little more. Cheese here. So you want it to be tight, like this. You can pull on it a bit as you're rolling. That'll allow it to stay tight. So now you got a nice roll like this. Now to keep it together, I'm going to take some toothpicks. You can use butcher's twine to tie it up. I don't have that right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use toothpicks. So basically the toothpick, you put it in through one side, if it doesn't break, and then make it come out the other like that. And I'll put another one on this side. Like this. So now you have your roll. So make all four the same way. Alright, next is the pork chops. So basically these are nice pork chop bone in. I'm just going to put light salt and pepper, and that's it. I'm not putting any other seasoning in it on the pork. Mainly, the main reason why I'm not putting any other seasoning than salt and pepper is for two reasons. First of all, they're going to cook in the sauce, so they're going to get the taste of all the garlic and the tomatoes and everything I put in the actual sauce. But also, they're going to, when pork cooks, it actually gives taste to the sauce as well. So I want the actual taste of the pork to come out in the sauce. So light coating of salt and pepper on both sides. This is fresh cracked black pepper. Actually, it's not just black pepper. I have black, red, and white pepper mixed in there. I'm gonna turn it. Little pan. And this is something that little trick that I use. It doesn't have to be done this way, but what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to take a pan. I'm going to put some olive oil in here, and take a few garlic cloves that I'm just going to pound just once, just so that they open up, so that they give the taste to the oil. And I'm basically going to put olive oil with garlic and just cook them a bit. You don't want to fry them too hot, because if they fry too hard or too hot, they're going to burn, and it gives a bitter taste. I just want to lightly cook the garlic in the oil. The reason I'm doing this is that I'm going to take the garlic out of the oil once it's done, and I'm going to use that oil to brown the meat, and also to saute the onions and and to do the sauce. So I'm going to add some more garlic into the sauce afterwards. This will prevent the garlic from burning in the oil. So this is just a little trick that I use. So I have these two garlic cloves. I'm just going to crush them a bit. So you don't want to cut them. You don't need to cut them. Take some olive oil. And I'm basically going to put as much oil as I need to cook both the meat and the onions, and to saute the onions. And if there's a little bit left over, it's all good. You can use it in other recipes. I just put the garlic with the oil and over medium heat, and that's it. The Braciole first. I'm going to drop in here, and I'm going to brown both sides of them. I'm going to do the same thing with the pork. All right, so now I finished browning the Brojo. You can see they have a nice brown color. They don't need to be cooked through because they're going to cook for about 2 to 3 hours in the tomato sauce. So now I'm browning the pork chops. Do the same thing, brown for about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes each side. I'm going to take them out, and then I'm going to make the sauce and then put the meat back in to cook for a few hours. Alright, so now that I've browned my meat, so I have it here set aside, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to saute the onions. I'm going to use the same oil that I cooked the meat in. Put this back on the fire, and I'm going to add a little bit more of the olive oil. Not too much because I don't want I'm going to sweat the onions. I don't want to burn them. I really want to just, I want to go beyond sweating. I want them to be a little caramelized. Off this process, it'll be a lot easier with a pinch of salt. I didn't put my heat too high because I don't want to burn the onion. I just want to make sure that I brown them nicely. I saute them into the brown. Alright, so now for the sauce. First of all, I have these tomatoes that I basically grilled on the barbecue. So I roasted them on the barbecue and removed the outer skin. So I'm just going to be using the exterior like that. And so I'm going to be cutting these up into pieces. So as you can see, these were roasted on the barbecue. And yeah, I can smell San Marzano tomatoes. Sorry, no, they're not crushed, they're whole San Marzano tomatoes. And I have the juice of those tomatoes. So what I'm going to be doing, I'll be deglazing the pan that has the onions with the juice. It's my good consistent. So now that that's going, I can go ahead and put the rest of the tomatoes in there. So these are the San Marzano tomatoes that I said that are whole. So I'm just going to be crushing them with my fingers. This is something you see a lot of Italians do. And the reason they do that is because it gives more texture to your sauce. So instead of just crushed tomatoes, you can use a San Marzano and just crush them a bit like that. Now I'm going to be adding some crushed tomatoes to that as well, because this is not going to be enough to make a sauce with the amount of meat that I have. So I'm adding a can of crushed tomatoes, actually 2 full cans of crushed tomatoes to the sauce. Now I'm going to be adding the seasoning. So basically I'm going to be cutting some more garlic. I have the rest of the garlic here, but I'll be adding some more. And it wouldn't be a real Italian Sunday gravy without some fresh basil. So that's what I have here. I'm just going to chop it up. Now we're going to add some salt and pepper. And some cracked black pepper. So basically, this is I added the sauce or the tomato sauce that I made in this pot, and I added the meat, so the pork chops and the braciole. And now, as you can see, it's starting to simmer. Leave it at a low heat, and want to make sure to always stir it once in a while to avoid that the tomato sticks at the bottom. Anybody's ever made tomato sauce knows it's easy to have tomato stick at the bottom of the pot. For those who've seen the movie Goodfellas, when he keeps calling home and saying to keep stirring, that's the reason. So I added the meat, and just a recap of what's in the actual sauce. So I have the San Marzano tomatoes that I crushed with my hands. Then I have the juice of the San Marzano tomatoes that I use as a deglazing liquid for the onions. And then I added 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, and I added some garlic, salt, pepper, some fresh not thyme, but some fresh basil, and some fresh Italian parsley. And so that's pretty much all in there. Salt and pepper, obviously. And so now I'm going to let it simmer for about 2 hours. And then in the meantime, I'm going to make the meatballs. Alright, so now I'm going to make the meatballs that's going to go in the sauce. So here I have some ground beef, sorry, not beef. I have ground pork and ground veal, that about a pound each. So I have about 2 pounds of meat here. And what I'm going to add to this is I'm going to add some chopped parsley. Keep some for adding later. I'm going to add about 4 cloves of garlic that's been minced. I'm going to add some breadcrumbs. Here I have the panko style breadcrumbs. If you don't have breadcrumbs, you can take stale bread. It's whatever you have. Basically, it acts as a binder with eggs, because I'm going to be adding 2 eggs to it. It's about 1 egg per pound. So I have 2 eggs here because I have 2 pounds of meat. And basically the eggs and the panko, or the breadcrumbs, will act as a binder to keep the meatball together. I'm also going to be adding some cheese, some pecorino Romano cheese. Here we go. Here's the salt. About a tablespoon of salt and some cracked pepper. Oh, like I said, I have about 2 eggs in here. And now I'm going to take the bling off, and I'm going to use the best tools in the kitchen, my hands. So now I want to make sure that the meatballs are all about the same size. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll be portioning them out using a scale. This way it allows me to make sure that I have all meatballs the same size. I would say about 3 ounces each meatball, to make sure they're all the same size. This is 3 ounces. It's a bit bigger than a golf ball, basically. Alright, so I put my meatballs on the barbecue that I prepared, and I basically put them on indirect heat. Here I have a probe thermometer that I have over here lined up. So they've been cooking for about 45 minutes. You can see that they're starting to look like they're cooking, but they still need more time to cook. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the probe into one of the meatballs that's the furthest from the heat. So right now, they're on this side. The burners are off. The burners are on only on this side. So they're cooking on indirect heat. This will help to avoid having flare-ups and that you have burnt meatballs. And also, they're going to finish cooking in the tomato sauce. So right now, the internal temperature is 118 Fahrenheit for that meatball that's the furthest away from the heat. So I want it to go up to 150. When it's at 150, I'm going to take them off the barbecue and put them in the sauce and let them finish cooking in the tomato sauce. So at this point, the sauce has been simmering for about 2 hours with the pork and the braciole, and I'm adding the meatballs to the sauce. So they're going to cook for another hour with the meatball, so a total of 3 hours of cooking time. You want to cook the sauce at a simmer at all times, not boiling or a full boil, because it's either going to stick at the bottom or it's going to burn, and it won't taste very good. And the higher temperature the sauce cooks at, more acidity comes out of the tomato. So this is what it should look like after 3 hours of cooking. And then you're ready to serve with some pasta. And